8th Annual Cabrillo Induction Ceremony and Dinner.
Quite a turnout. Look at this crowd. All here to see.
It says on my name tag, my name is Bob Lawrence.
All here to see Kevin Ewing.
I was blessed to have been an educator here in Cabrillo for a very long time, and I've been honored to be the master of ceremonies this evening. This event tonight is going to be co-sponsored by the CH Wrestling team. And their boosters under the direction of head coach Mike Wallace and his wonderful wife, Michelle.
Yay!
At this time, we have a number, I look out in the audience, we have a number of previous Hall of Fame inductees in attendance. Would all of those previous Hall of Fame inductees please stand at this time? Thank you, thank you. We have a wonderful turnout. We also have some VIPs before we eat dinner. We have some VIPs here, and to open the program is our Lompoc Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Clara Finnery.
Wow.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Hi everybody, so wonderful to be here, Dr. Clara Finneran. How many of you have children that are in our school district? Oh, come on, there's more of you that do. Okay, grandchildren? All right. Children that graduated? Ah, there we are. All right. And I'm making an assumption that a majority of you live here. Welcome to those of you that have come from out of town. I moved here in January and have loved about 98.5% of the moments I have had here. It has been my pleasure to come here to serve as the superintendent, and I just want to share with you a few things that we are working on. And I know I'm standing between you and dinner, so if you just give me about 45 seconds, I would appreciate it. 3 things. 1, we're working on building a culture of trust here in Lompoc Unified. There's been some issues with that, so we're working on it. Secondly, we're working on increasing academic achievement for all of our students. We can't do that without taking care of their well-being. Schools have become responsible for a lot of things. And so we have to not only address their academic needs, that's our primary purpose, but also their social emotional needs. And lastly, we're working on our facilities. You all know? Yeah, you know this. So there's a lot of needs that we have for our facilities. We recently did a facilities study. There's about $500 million, yes, I said $500 million of needs that we have in our district. We are hoping to be able to address in the next few years about 200 million of those needs. But we need your help, and we can talk about that later. I won't go into that. But I am so appreciative to see all of you here. Congratulations to the inductees tonight. And just such a pleasure to celebrate with you tonight and to celebrate the legacy and the traditions of Cabrillo High School. It really is such a pleasure to be here with you all. So thank you for welcoming me, and thank you for your support of our schools.
And Cabrillo has a new principal this year who would like to say a few words, Mr. Brian Grimness.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence, and thank you, Dr. Finneran, for being here this evening. As mentioned, my name is Brian Grimness, and I was selected to be the new principal for Cabrillo High School this year, and I'm honored to do so. A little over 8 years ago, I was invited to come up to Cabrillo High School and to serve as an assistant principal. And I was quickly accepted and adopted into the Cabrillo family. And it has been tremendous for me, a great blessing in my life. As you come to the school, on the fence out there, there's a banner on the fence from the Alumni Association that says, "Once a Conquistador, Conquistador forever." And I'm grateful for that and for my ability to be here with you this evening. Cabrillo is a special place, and that's evidenced not just by our those being honored this evening, but by all of you in attendance here. tonight. Thank you for making Cabrillo what it is, what it has been, and what it will become. So thank you again for being here this evening, and let's get on with the celebrations. Thank you.
And Cabrillo also has a new athletic director who would like to say a few words, Mr. Derek Wong.
Sentiments of Brian, thank you for all being here tonight. I know some of you have traveled a long ways to come back here to Cabrillo, and we are grateful for all the alumni that we have. Ray does a great job with this. The shields I was mentioning look awesome. We're going to have a great place for them. I've been on the job as AD for less than a month, so it's a quick turnaround here. I'm a 1985 Cabrillo graduate. I played soccer and baseball here. I've been the girls soccer coach here for 23 years. I know the culture of the athletic program. I've had great mentors with Bob and Don McIntyre and Bob Warrior, Dan Tripp, so I have a lot to live up to, but I'm ready for the job, and hopefully that we can get our athletic program to the level that I know all of you want it to be. Even though you may be far away, I know a lot of you still follow Cabrillo, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we live up to the standards that you all have for us. So thank you.
And one final speaker before we get dinner. The CHS Alumni Association President, Mr. Rich Longoria.
Yay! My chauffeur! He just brought me.
Thank you. I've got to read off of this, so excuse me for... Anyway, on behalf of the Alumni Association, I want to welcome everybody here to tonight's induction ceremony. I want to thank all of you for coming to honor and celebrate another outstanding group of individuals, teams, and staff to induct into our Hall of Fame. Over the past several years, I've served on the board of the Alumni Association, and I've had the opportunity and pleasure to work with two individuals that I'd like to kind of single out tonight for their commitment to the school, to the Alumni Association, and also to this Hall of Fame event. And those two individuals are Ray Moore and Denise Regal. Much more will be said about their achievements here as they get inducted, but from the perspective of someone who has worked with them for the Hall of Fame and the Alumni Association, I just want to say a few words. As most of you know, Ray was one of the founders of the original, or I should say the first Hall of Fame ceremony to induct Coach Everett Jones. This took place in 2008. And then after a passing of several years, and again, Ray will let us know, but he just got this idea that this Hall of Fame program needed to be done here for the school. And so in 2014, we had our first sort of official Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and it continues to this day. So it's pretty obvious to those that have attended previous events that Ray is really the leader. He's the one that's kept this ceremony going since 2014. He has covered all the details necessary to get it to continue and to grow. And the school, our Alumni Association, should have a lot of, or will have a lot of gratitude for Ray's leadership and commitment to the Hall of Fame. So thank you very much for And Denise has served on the board for several years now as secretary. And I would characterize her as sort of being the den mother, the rock, and the biggest cheerleader for the Alumni Association that we have. her official title is secretary, but she often finds herself compelled to do duties outside of that position and to kind of cover all the bases that the association needs to be running smoothly. So she's just, I would have to say that our association wouldn't be as strong as it is without her leadership. And we thank you very much, Denise, for your dedication. I should also mention that I'm the outgoing president, and Susan Malone Morrison has been elected as the new president. So she's also an inductee, and we look forward to her energy and a new spirit for the Alumni Association. So that's about it. I'd just like to end with a little recruitment pitch for the association. I want to thank all of those people here, alumni here, that have joined the association. And for those of you that haven't, I encourage you to join tonight or sometime soon. And remember that in joining, you're honoring the contributions of Denise and Ray and the other volunteers for the association. So thank you very much.
We'd also like to say that Dan Petry is the vice president.
And those memberships are available back with Miss Carrie Larson. She's raising her hand right here. If you're okay. There's a silent auction over here. Please go during the evening, during dinner. That's going to be the last thing that'll be announced at the end. And there's a 50-50 drawing. At this time, the meal is going to be served by the wrestling team and the booster club. So sit back and relax.
All right, this is Dan Petry Showcase on YouTube, and we're here at the Cabrillo Hall of Fame induction ceremony. All right, enjoy America in the World.
Applause to the CHS wrestling team for work for me.
I remember going to the basement gym and getting in the sauna and sitting in there for about a half an hour.
I know this is old home week. You get a chance to see some people you haven't seen in 50 years, but we need to get on with the program here. It's pretty special. There aren't very many schools that do this, to recognize individuals for the things not only that they did in high school, but what they've done beyond high school. And we get to honor some incredible people this evening.
Perfect, no?
To introduce our first inductee, please welcome Hank Cook, who's a 2015 Hall of Fame member.
Bill Garman. I have explicit orders to keep things brief, so I'll ask you to open your programs and read what really is just a sample of what Bill, is that more? Read a little bit of what Bill has done since graduating high school. Because if I stand up here and try to do justice to what he's done, we're all going to have breakfast together. Outstanding senior for his fraternity in college, for the entire nation. Law degree from Southern Methodist University, an executive and also the general counsel for a multi-billion-dollar energy company, recognized as one of the top 5 energy attorneys in the nation. And for fun, he has completed 26 marathons, over 50 half marathons, and over 100 triathlons. Aren't you tired?
Yeah.
There's, if I can get this done, there's one in particular I want to mention about Bill. Bill received the Air Force Commendation Medal for his work with widows of Air Force and Navy pilots who were killed in action or missing in action. Thank you.
Wow.
So, I was wondering, when Bill was at Cabrillo, did anybody see this coming? I did a little research, started with the 1967 Cabrillo Tierra Royale yearbook. Page 114, Bill is recognized as one of 5 outstanding seniors. Went to the senior index in the yearbook and found that because of Bill's activities and honors at Cabrillo, You'll also find him on pages 16, 24, 50, 51, 51, and 54, as well as 61, 55, 127, 130, 167, 73, 115, 32, 60, and 91. Unbelievable. Bill, your classmates, teachers, and administrators at Cabrillo are not at all surprised. I congratulate you. It is my privilege to introduce Bill Garner as part of the class of 2023 Cabrillo High School Alumni Association Hall of
Did you say he was on the yearbook committee? Is that what you said?
No, some of it was even true.
Here.
It's been a long, strange journey.
That's funny.
The halls of Cabrillo High School to where I am now in downtown Houston, Texas, where I practice law. A lot of my success was basically started right here, so many years ago, but not athletically. I was on the swim team and the water polo team. I was horrible at water polo, and swim. And on the swim team, there's always somebody in these individual sports that you can count on to take third or fourth. That was me. Never first, rarely second, but also very rarely could I get fifth or sixth. So anyway, thank you very much for this honor. I didn't expect it. I'm glad to be back here. I left Cabrillo in July of 1967 and never came back. Like so many people, my father's in the military. We actually were living on base. My father got assigned to Vietnam, and so we had to move off base. We moved about 200 yards from the front entrance to the high school in Vandenberg Village. And then in July, my dad came back. He got an assignment to Europe, and I got to go to college in the South. I never came back. So it's an honor to be back here and see all of you. And I actually know some people. So thank you so much.
I guess I'll stay because I'm also second here. Ray Moore, where are you, buddy? There you are. Again, I've been encouraged by Ray to be expeditious, so I'll ask you again to refer to your program for a brief summary of Ray's accomplishments. And take note of his wife, Kathy, because without her, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be here. His athletic and coaching honors, recognition from his peers are all impressive. California State Athletic Director of the Year, Coach of the Year, Coaches Hall of Fame. But I need to tell you something about Ray. It's not the program. Something I believe is more important. Ray's an influencer, not one with a podcast or Facebook or Instagram. And I'm not even sure he knows how to tweet. Ray, do you tweet? Okay. But Ray's an influencer that if you're a high school kid, you're lucky because he can make a difference in your life. Ray's an influencer that if you're a parent of that high school kid, you're lucky because Ray just might make a difference in the direction your child's life takes. Ray, we're proud of what you accomplished, but we're even more proud of how you've changed lives. Something else, and this has to do with perspective. As a sophomore playing football, the seniors, like Ray, were all a bit larger than life. They were big, strong, fast, and if you were across from one of them in a blocking or tackling drill, you pretty much knew things weren't going to end very well. Found an old game program, some of the 1968 seniors. Tom Von Enns, 5'10", 180 pounds. No way. I remember Tommy, he was about 6'3" and 220.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Ted Blemeyer, 5'11", 180.
Yeah, really good.
That had to be at least 6'4". Terry Leone,
Doesn't matter.
the biggest, baddest, fiercest linebacker that ever walked the face of the earth. Program said 5'9", 170. Terry was at least 6'2", 225. And me, you didn't mess with Butch. So keeping that in mind, my somewhat distorted perspective, it is my privilege to welcome my friend, 6 foot 8 inch, 265 pound, Ray Moore, as the newest member of the 2023.
That's funny. The guy puts himself every other page.
I know this about myself. I'm a written and visual learner, so I put together 8 things, and you can keep track of them. I will not vary. Number 1, I'm sincerely appreciative of this award. It's not needed because of the things I got back from Cabrillo High School. Number 2, I'm both lucky and blessed to be here tonight. Number 3, I'm lucky because I was an aspiring trumpet player and tried out for the Cabrillo High School band. And Mr. Pipes, who was the director at the time, reached over and said, you know, we're going to conflict with band practice and football. And that kind of told me that I better not be the trumpet player in the band because mediocre trumpet players are many. Mediocre to decent offensive linemen are a big commodity that's valued. So I became a football player and gave up the band. Number 4, I was blessed to have the coaches and teachers at Cabrillo High School. Everett Jones, Dick Wilson, Bob Radford, Dave Long, Ed Knowles, Don McIntyre, Dick Shires, and many more. Dick Shires was our trainer. I was not smart enough to get in his math class. So I consider myself his student anyway, but it was in the training room. I'm blessed to have many lifelong friends from my time here at Cabrillo. There are a number of them here this evening. Number 6, I was blessed to have met my wife Kathy at Cal State Fullerton. She was on the tennis team and I was playing baseball at the time. And this month we'll be married 50 years. You have to understand, she says it's been the happiest 19 years of her life. So we're still in the trial period, I understand. Number 7, we're blessed to have our daughter Krista and our son-in-law Nolan here tonight. And it's the anniversary of their 21st wedding anniversary tonight. So what a nice romantic interlude they have. And our grandkids are here in order of age. Dylan, Colin, Mason, and Brooklyn are here this evening as well. And number 8, in closing, my personal philosophy and professional philosophy, I read many, many years ago. And it's titled, If Everyone Could Be an Offensive Lineman. A, they don't need attention, spotlight, or name in the paper. B, success requires all 5 working together. C, all they worry about is doing their job well. And D, and the sole purpose of their job is to make others successful. Thank you very much for this great award.
To introduce our next inductee, please welcome Wendy Knowles, 2015 Hall of Fame member.
I was so pleased to be asked to be here tonight to let you get to know Denise Riegel. Denise and her family moved here in 1961. Vandenberg Air Force Base was growing, and Cabrillo started growing and became what it is today. Denise attended Cabrillo High School and graduated in 1970. I started teaching here in 1971, so I didn't get a chance to meet her or her 2 sisters who are also here. I was told, and I checked into finding out a little bit more about Denise. She's very active at Cabrillo, volunteering and organizing school events, clubs, and class activities. Apparently this endless energy to get involved, helping others, has been her life's goal. After an interesting career in aerospace peacekeeper missile development, then on to construction management of luxury properties in Hawaii, Denise got the bug to travel, so moved on to join the Peace Corps and worked with the Peace Corps for several years. Since 2015, Denise has continued to get involved with many activities helping others in a variety of organizations. She's worked with World War II veterans, planning reunions. She's been with the Lompoc Literary Program, teaching adults to read. And she's worked with the Red Cross Disaster Relief, where she was deployed to Puerto Rico and Fort Myers. Fortunately for our Cabrillo Alumni Association, as you already heard, she has found the time to take place to be a part of the development of the association and assist in several activities, including the scholarship program. As secretary, she keeps the membership informed and on track with the activities and the goings-on of the Alumni Association. She's got emails sending out about every week or so, so we know what's going on. I'm honored to introduce Denise Riegel, Hall of Fame member in the induction class of 2023.
Okay. Well, I never have a problem sitting behind the microphone and talking. Yeah, I can keep going, but it's really, really difficult when it's about yourself. So, forgive me if I read a little bit here, and I'm sure I'm going to go off track here. I was completely caught by surprise receiving this honor. While at CHS, I did not participate in any clubs, sports, music, government, etc. Sorry about that part. I was incredibly shy. I'm pretty sure it never occurred to me that I could join a club. My older sister Teresa was president of the Junior Achievement Club, and she hoodwinked me and my twin sister Deborah into helping her at the junior senior prom by serving food. But I never made the connection to myself. It never occurred to me that I could join a club and do this stuff and help with things around school. Hanging out with my friends, going to the football games, particularly riding the Rooter bus, was my small world of high school. Many of you are snickering about me being shy. I really was a wildflower back in my younger years. I started traveling, trying new things, learning new jobs, and realizing my potential, not only at a job, but also in my community. I really blossomed in my 30s and 40s. I tried many new things and lost much of the fear I had earlier in my life. I walked through open doors to see what was on the other side, not being afraid of the unknown. I didn't do this on my own until my confidence grew from positive close friends, my family, and many circles throughout my life. I learned to be comfortable with public speaking. Ta-da! Here I am with the microphone, and I have no problem with that. That was really hard to get over. I learned that when I was with the National Association of Women in Construction, because I was forced. You will be president, and you will stand up here and do a whole hour meeting. Okay, I can do that. But that even worked for me in opening more doors. I learned more than I expected, especially when I was working in a man's world. I was a support person, and I learned that supporting someone else to make sure their job work could be beneficial for me. I had jobs in engineering, aerospace, and construction that gave me a true insight into learning from every person that I worked with and moving up the chain of jobs. I'll never forget the promotion I got in my first job, where all of those support skills that I learned here at Cabrillo were used daily in support of my own job. It was awesome. That brings me back to where these skills that I counted on throughout the years came from. I always give credit to my success and my work to Mrs. Dodson, my shorthand teacher. Yes, Judy Dodson from the business department. I wanted to grow up to be just like her. She was beautiful, calm, cool, collected, and so professional. I'm a junior in high school, very shy and quiet, and she was the ultimate to me. I wanted to be just like her. And in many ways, I think I have been. Anyway, I don't remember learning how to type, only that I was good at it. I took shorthand, and I was even better at that. Never used it for work, but it got me a lot of jobs. loved taking the courses there, and I loved having Mrs. Dotson teach the class, and she was kind of my home. Okay, skipping all that stuff. Now, when I joined the Peace Corps, it came to me, and I thought remembered from junior high school at Vandenberg Middle School. That was back in the 60s, and the Peace Corps was the hot ticket for young individuals at the time. I thought, oh, I can still see myself standing there in front of one of the buildings going, wouldn't that be the best thing to do when I grow up? Well, little did I know. Decades later, when I got laid off and couldn't find a job because I was too old, too experienced, and probably if I took a job, I'd go get a better one in the next 6 months. So I couldn't get a job, and I says, wait a minute, didn't I want to be in the Peace Corps sometime? Back in junior high, I did, and I joined. It took me a year and a half to get there, and I haven't looked back since, nor have I joined the work world again. My 2 years of service in Moldova taught me about myself and those that I worked with. Integrating into a foreign community isn't easy, trust me. I cried a lot. After 1 year, I thought I had finally achieved that goal. I thought I would be integrated. I was integrated into my community. It wasn't until the second year when my neighbors and friends would say, oh yeah, you were here for Easter or Women's Day or Christmas last year. You know that holiday like in our town. So it took me 2 years to get integrated into the community, but I was accepted. And that was powerful. I had been exposed to people from so many different countries and was able to do a lot of travel while there. After the end of my service, Teresa and I traveled around the world. We took 2 months, not nearly enough time, to circumnavigate the world. But that was the only time we had, and it was more about the travel, not the tourism. We would see one big city in every country. We went to 20 countries or something like that. But all of that built on the confidence that I learned in my work that were based on the basic skills that I got when I was here at Cabrillo. So no, I wasn't into sports, and I wasn't into government, or I wasn't doing all the clubs or everything, but and it wasn't until this happened that I really stopped and looked back and said, Cabrillo made me what I am. Thank you, Mrs. Dotson.
Good job, Denise.
And to introduce our next inductee, 2020 Hall of Fame member, Stephen Haskins.
It's my honor to introduce the retired Judge Timothy J. Staffel. Tim and I had lunch the other day, and we started about 11 o'clock, and we talked, and I tell you what, this man is an amazing man. He's done a lot of things. I sat there and I listened, and 2 hours later, I learned quite a bit from Tim. We have a lot of connections with different people in the community, and I was glad to know that. Tim was the junior class president and senior class president here. He wrote on the fore and aft. He was also on the yearbook staff, and he wrote for the Lompoc Record while he was still in high school. And I remember his sports stories, and they were always unbiased, even though he was from Cabrillo. He kept it unbiased, and he knew all the coaches. So we appreciate that. I wish he was a little more biased for us, but that was his choosing. After graduation, he went to University of San Diego and got a degree there. He got his law degree at the University Pacific at sorry, Tim. St. George. And also he was a intern for Lagmarcino. He's had many experiences, started a law firm together, worked on the Santa Barbara, he was elected to the Santa Barbara 4th District Supervisor representing Lompoc and Santa Maria area. We probably all remember that. And he was chairman of the Santa Barbara Board of Supervisors in 1995. He's done a lot of things, and I don't want to take up any more time because I know Tim has a lot to say, and I want to bring up the Honorable Tim Staffel.
Thank you, Steve. It's a distinct honor to be here tonight for induction at the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame. I must introduce my wife, Colleen, of 38 years. Cabrillo High School graduate in 1974. 38, we celebrating 38th wedding anniversary this year. We actually met at a high school reunion, so. And we also have some friends here from Santa Maria. Steve, after that introduction, I think they want some rebuttal time. So thank you for that nice introduction. I'd like to thank everyone involved in the Alumni Association, the fellow inductees, especially Greg Moore and Denise Riegel, for all their hard work putting this night together and all the work they do in the association. It is truly, truly appreciated. I want to thank Camilla and Mel Wildley for nominating me for this honor. He needs no introduction. When you came here tonight, you came down Constellation Mel Wildley Road on the way here. He was the first principal at Cabrillo High School. He was a stalwart in the Lompoc Unified School District for his foresight. I want the superintendent to hear this. For his foresight in overseeing the construction of all the Lompoc Unified School District school sites. And for me, he was my appointee to the Santa Barbara County Planning Commission from 1993 to 1996. He did a stellar job. He was painstaking man to detail. The staff loved him. He served 3 decades on the county Assessment Appeals Board, which saved a lot of money, tax money for the county of Santa Barbara. Mel, thank you for your service, and thank you for Bill Berger mentioned something. He was a kind of a water polo guy, not that good. That was me too. I played water polo my freshman and sophomore years, while I didn't let him play. Bob Lawrence can attest to that. It's truly an honor to be inducted on the same night that the Heidemann brothers are being inducted. I was a scrawny little freshman when I played water polo here, and the first day of practice I show up and there's a Zeus-like physical specimens in the pool. His name's Walter Heidemann, and he was an all-CIF, all-American, all-everything. And you can imagine the impression that had on a freezing young little freshman. Again, Mr. Wales, it's windy and freezing out there. And I've always ranked Walt and the Heidemann brothers as among the top athletes ever to be through this school, and we've had some darn good athletes go through this school. So I congratulate them on their induction tonight. I've always felt that the educational and basic life experiences gave me a strong foundation received right here at Cabrillo High School in the Lompoc Valley, and helped me steer me through my life and through my career. In my sophomore year, my first semester, I took a speech class. The first day of class, the teacher made the students get up and sing the lyrics of a song. Now, I chose a Gordon Lightfoot song, which will probably be a surprise to some of my friends who think I'm more along the lines of Merle Haggard and Buck Owens, but, I'm still an Okie from Lompoc, so that's great. But what was this all about? Well, it was simple. It was about shedding inhibitions and learning to speak in public. It worked. It built my self-confidence to the point during that year, I decided to run for junior class president. Looking back, I realized it was a changing point in my life. It was a great teaching technique, and overcoming the fear of public speaking is a skill that helps create well-rounded students and individuals. I credit that teacher to this day for helping me on my career path. He's here tonight. He's a Hall of Fame member. His wrestling team's being honored. He's sitting right over here. His name's Dave Long. Now, there was good and bad about that. So whether it's tonight or any time during my career as a lawyer, politician, or judge, that I tended to ramble on a little too long, like maybe right now, you know who to give thanks and credit for, Dave Long. I appreciate my time, my years of career. I lived a charmed life here. I was involved in student government. I covered high school sports for the local newspaper, the Videographer. The sports editor was Scott Oster, who later went on to write for the LA Times and still for the San Francisco Chronicle. We also had a photographer there by the name of Dan Duffy. Not a Hall of Famer here, but he's dad. And we worked every day and went down there every day and saw Dan and Scott. It was a great time in my life. The work education program here under Dale Lardy allowed me, during my senior year, to report to work at the newspaper every morning. I loved it. Instead of going to school, I'm down there working on deadline. And I would constantly show up late for my second period class. Mr. Ward, another speech teacher, was very understanding, and the administration was very kind. Good thing Bickford likes sports. And my school counselor, Leah McIntyre, I am sure smoothed over things for me more than once, so I appreciate all that. Like many folks here, and many folks that have gone to our school, this wonderful school in Lompoc Valley, I could hardly wait to graduate and get away from this small town area. I did that. I went to San Diego, Sacramento, Washington, D.C., and other places. All those places had their attributes, and I enjoyed living there. But when it came time to really choose where to spend my time and where to spend my life and career, it was an easy choice. Right here in Lompoc, Santa Maria, northern Santa Barbara County. It's been a privilege to serve the public here on the Board of Supervisors and on the Superior Court. It's been an honor to do so. In closing, when it was announced that I was chosen for this Hall of Fame honor, those who know me best knew it had nothing to do with my athletic ability. In fact, my good friend, former fire chief of Santa Maria, Frank Ortiz, got in front of my Rotary Club and claimed it has nothing to do with athletic ability. After all, my so-called athletic career kind of mirrored my professional one, mostly spent on the bench. However, from this day forward, with no further elaboration needed or offered, I can honestly proclaim that I played water polo at Cabrillo High School and was inducted to the Cabrillo Hall of Fame on the same evening as the Heidelberg brothers. Thank you all.
Yeah, and nothing to do with the judge.
Wow. Our next inductee is Kevin Ewing, the class of 1977. I was privileged to coach this young man his sophomore year on the baseball team, and I could tell at that point that he was going to go places and do things. Always on time, always hustling, always a teammate for everybody, pitched in whenever he could, and it proved that he was going to do great things. He went on to, after graduation here, he went on to the Air Force Academy, where he was first team selection, played football and baseball there. He went into the helicopter program and did amazing things there. He also was president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes there at the academy, as well as here at Cabrillo High School. During the academy, Kevin was honored to be Academic All-American by the Collegiate Sports Information Directors of America. And I'm not going to go into many more things here because I want him to elaborate on those, because of he completed helicopter training, served in tours, and did a lot of amazing things. It's my privilege to introduce the 1977 graduate, Kevin Ewing.
Good evening. Is that good, Dan? Okay. Well, I flew into LAX last night. It was miserable. 9 o'clock at night, you get out there, people are cussing at each other, telling them, get out of the way! Threatening to ram into each other, and that was just the luggage carousel. They got worse out in the budget bus to go to the budget, and I got my car. I got this Nissan Kicks. Does everybody know what a Nissan Kicks is? You ever heard of that? I had never heard of that. I said, you're giving me what? Okay, that's fine. And this fella was a former rabbi who turned into a rental car agent. And I will tell you a story about that, but I don't think I'm going to have time. But if you want to hear the story, I will tell it to you later, okay? Anyway, so I got my car and I made it. So here I am. I want to thank Mark Whitwer. Mark, where's your hand? Mark Whitwer, where are you? Thank you, Mark. I'm honored that you would think enough of me to, put my name in for this award and this honor. I'm shocked, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very humbling. I also wanted to say hi to and welcome my friend Dan Petry. Dan, raise your hand. Dan, Dan and I go back to 3rd grade when he was like the best kickball player at Buena Vista Elementary School. Him and Brian Boyski could just kick that ball. And Dan and I spent many, many years playing baseball together on many, many teams. And he gave me this picture when I came in. This is a picture of Dan Petry and me at the 1-0 Lompoc, when we beat Lompoc 1-0 in the spring of '76. And it's for our first ever dedicated, Northern League championship. Yep. We took it outright. That was the first year we'd done that. And so he gave me this. Thank you, Dan. And he won that game 1-0. And there I am telling him, you better throw a strike or I'm going to knock you out. I was third baseman. There I am telling him. And he did. He just mowed him down one after another. Dan has been a big part of this community and done a lot of great things for the Lompoc Valley. I wanted to thank those folks for being here. I want to welcome my brother Mike and his wife Bonnie from Lakeport, California. Raise your hand, Mike, over there. Came down all the way from Lakeport. We're crying out loud. And my sister Patty and her husband Paul Russell from Santa Clarita. Patty is a 75 grad, so Tim Staffel's classmate. And came down to support me. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Tim Staffel's here. Okay, Tim and I played Little League together, and his father, Coach Staffel, who passed away, but I was hoping he'd be here. I got some stories. I could tell stories for 30 minutes. I'm not good at it. But your dad, we were all scared to death of Scotty Pryor. Scotty Pryor could throw like 100-mile-an-hour fastball with him, left-handed, and we were afraid to do batting practice off him, frankly, because we thought we were going to get hit in the head by a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And your dad grabbed the baseball bat and said, you bunch of chickens, just give me a bat. He grabbed the bat, he got up there, he walked up there, he looked like Yogi Berra. Your dad was kind of short, stocky, long arms. He got up there, Scotty Pryor threw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle, knee-high. Your dad smacked that ball, first pitch, onto the roof of Los Barros Elementary School. And we were all just standing there watching it going, he got some street cred, your dad. Your dad was amazing. He's a great coach. I really appreciate guys that went out there and gave up of their time to put that in for little leaguers like you and me, right? He was a wonderful man. And then also Walt Heidems is here, an inductee. I'll have to tell a story about him. I just got to tell stories. Walt got my sister Karen, who was a 71 valedictorian, got Karen Ewing through chemistry. She would have failed. She said, if it wasn't for Walt being my lab partner, I would have failed chemistry. So thank you, Walt. Thanks for getting her through chemistry, my sister Karen. So those are a couple of things I wanted to say. I'm going to be three things. I've been given some advice. So from now on, I'm hacking the clock now for my 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry. That was just the introduction. Okay. That was just welcome. Okay? But I've told to be a good speaker, you need to be funny, be brief, and be seated. And I don't know about the funny part, but I'm going to be brief, I hope. I'm going to be grateful. I want to be grateful. And then I'm going to be seated. Okay? Great. I have a lot of people to be grateful for, and I have a lot of names here. I just want to mention them. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but for 3 or 4 minutes, I want to mention these men and women characterize or symbolize a lot of others. And some people say, well, you're going to forget somebody. I don't care. I'm just going to, say some names, and they represent all the good teachers I had along the way from 3rd grade on. And when I got here in 3rd grade, I had this, let me go back. Grateful first for my hardworking Kansas-born and bred parents. A lot of you knew them. Claire and Evelyn Ewing lived right around the corner. We lived like right over the parking lot fence over here. And my dad, grew up in Kansas, worked drilling water wells during the Great Depression with his father, and served almost 28 years in the Air Force, did some really great things. And my mom was a Kansas farm girl, got married to my dad. She modeled patience and kindness, which I've been working on my whole life, by the way. But she modeled it just phenomenally well for 99 and a half years. And she passed away 2 years ago, 99 and a half, and just didn't quite get her to 100. But anyway, she's a wonderful woman. I'm grateful that I had those kind of parents. Wonderful people. When I got here in third grade, Mrs. Shaw, I don't know if anybody had Mrs. Shaw in third grade here at Buena Vista Elementary School. She was 75 or 80 years old. She taught us two things. She taught us the multiplication table. She taught us long division. If everybody learned that nowadays, we would have rocket scientists coming out of this place left and right. She was wonderful. Even Harry got through his 12 by 12s by the end of the year. Harry, I remember Harry, I can't remember his last name, but he everybody in class. She was a wonderful teacher. I'm grateful for Mrs. Shaw because she set us up for success. Got into junior high. Mr. Alexander was a chemistry teacher, wonderful guy, and was a golf club sponsor. I golfed with him every week. He was wonderful. And then there was a woman who everybody kind of made fun of because she was the French teacher,
Oh, yeah.
and all that. Mrs. Hoskinson. She was a wonderful teacher. In retrospect, I think, I can't believe we made her cry regularly in junior high school because we were such brats. But she was wonderful. She taught us French using a lot of songs. And I'm telling you, as an educator myself, that is a great way to learn things, rhymes and songs. And I wish I could apologize to her, quite frankly. I wish she was here. But she was great. I moved on into high school, Herr Iverson. I had Herr Ives for German for several years. He was great, loved Herr Iverson. Mr. Schmidt I had for English, the whole ball of wax. Does anybody remember him saying that? He said that every day for the whole semester. Oh, the whole ball of wax. Yeah, the whole ball of wax, the whole ball of wax. He's like, oh, okay, whole ball of wax. Okay. And my sisters told me he'd say that, and he did. Then there was a woman, Lavon Krauf. I don't remember. She taught me how to use a semicolon. I mean, I still know how to use a semicolon, what an adjective and an adverb and all that stuff are. She taught me how to write better than I ever had before, and I owe a lot of whatever skill I have writing. I probably owe a lot of it to her. And then last but not least on my list in high school, Mr. Warren Arnold. Could you please raise your hand? Mr. Warren Arnold. You know, I invited him here because I still remember biology and physics class with him, and he was tremendous. He said, well, I really wasn't a physicist. I didn't know anything about physics. What? Well, he taught us all about, XY chromosomes and meiosis and mitosis and all that, but he also taught us about something called rectilinear motion. And I told that to my wife. I said, what do you think that is? She goes, sounds like something you shouldn't talk about in public. Is that a biology thing? Is it sex ed? And I said, no, that's physics. That's just straight line motion of a particle with position, velocity, acceleration, everything. Learn that. I teach calculus now, and I use that as a foundational piece of taking derivatives. Who cares, right? Anyway, Mr. Arnold is a phenomenal teacher, and I just appreciate you coming. And I remember a lot from him. I still know that the volume of a cone is 1/3 the volume of the corresponding cylinder. Because you filled them up with water and hey, what do you think? Double. No, it was 3 of them to fill that up. I just remember that you're doing that in class. Great teacher. I had advisors in FCA, Rick Kendall. I also had Mr. John Lemon as an advisor in Key Club. Both wonderful men, and taught us a lot about 2 things, faith and service, which marked my life a lot from then on. Faith and service, and they were wonderful gentlemen, a big part of my life. And then I have to get to my coaches, because you spend 99% of your time with your coaches, right?
Yep.
Head coaches and position coaches primarily. I mean, in football, Coach Barnes was a head coach, freshman in JV. Coach Shores, I knew him really well. He was a great coach. Coach Knowles, varsity football coach. Coach Radford in football, and Coach Long taught me how to run the option. And I wouldn't know how to do it unless he taught me. He taught me how to pitch the ball. Thumb down, Kevin. Thumb down. Right? Over and over and over again. Go to your house, go to the wall, and just pitch that ball against the wall and have it bounce. It was like, okay. So, did that over and over and over again. Great coaches I had. In baseball, Coach Rowe, love Coach Rowe, Coach Haskins. Those were great years, fun years that didn't have a whole lot of pressure, on it. Was lots of fun. And then got into varsity, Coach Weber, Coach Kendall. And all of these men I'm talking about taught us grit, determination, perseverance, teamwork, all those things that you need for success. And I'm grateful for those gentlemen. I had some adversities, a lot of injuries, and I went off to Stanford University, tried out for the baseball team, failed. I had knee surgery, and I ran a 5.240 Does anybody know how slow that is? That's so slow. I hadn't run 5.2 since I was in 8th grade. And I didn't make the team. And I said, well, whatever, I'm going to try something different. Well, fate intervened. I thought it was divine intervention. I ended up going to Air Force Academy and playing football and baseball, which was my dream, and turned out great. And I did some things in the Air Force Academy and then beyond that were really, really special for me. Bottom line, here it comes. I'm sorry it took so long. But bottom line, here it is. I was taught all along in my life and coached not to be a quitter. Okay? Not to be a quitter while growing up and then attending Cabrillo High School. Just keep at it. Keep at it, keep at it, keep working your hardest. I learned a lot of that from the people I've mentioned. I'm grateful to all who are involved in my process and all the blessings that I have received in life, undeserved. But I thank you all. It's long overdue. Let's just say that. It's long, long overdue. So God bless you.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. Here you go, Bob.
And to introduce our next inductee, please welcome Michelle Malone Knight, 2019 Hall of Fame member and the sister of our inductee.
Hello, I'm here to introduce my sister, Susan Malone Morrison. You can read her accomplishments in the program, and they make me very proud of her. As a sister, as an alumni, and as a woman, because she really broke some barriers in a male-dominated field. She's accomplished a lot. But I'd also like to say publicly, probably for the first time, that Sue is the smartest person I know. Yes, even smarter than me, and as a younger sister, that's really hard to admit. You do not want her to be in the same room during Jeopardy, because she will put you to shame and know all the answers. And if you ever go on a cruise, you always want her on your team for the trivia contest. But beyond that, she is also one of the most selfless people that I know. She and her husband, Ronnie, and her children provided a loving home for their handicapped daughter, Julia, until she passed away recently at 31 years old. That commitment and dedication to care for a child and an adult who required care to do everything is extraordinary. And I have so much respect and admiration. I know that having had that experience makes my sister one of the most giving, kind, selfless, and sincere human beings I've ever known. Tonight, we celebrate the graduates of our alma mater who started here and excelled. Didn't have to be sports, it could be anything. But we went on, and they went on to live lives that were professionally excellent and humanly special. My sister Sue takes her place here as one who truly deserves this honor. I proudly introduce my sister, Susan Malone Morrison.
Hello, everyone. And I apologize, she had to make me cry. First of all, I'd like to thank the Alumni Association and the Hall of Fame Committee for deeming me worthy to be inducted here tonight. It's truly an honor, and I am proud to be included in such an accomplished group of Cabrillo alumni. Next, I'd like to acknowledge and thank my family, many of them who are here with us tonight. My mother, Jackie, and my late father, John, who taught my sister and me the importance of hard work and of always doing our best. my sister Michelle, who you just met, and her husband Frank are here with us tonight. They came from Pacific Grove, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Michelle, you may have gotten here first, but now we're even. To my husband Ronnie, you came into my life at a low time in my life. Excuse me. And took on me and my girls, and have loved and supported us for 25 plus years now. I thank you for letting me be me, as my son would say. To my daughter, Dr. Lauren Berry, Cabrillo class of 2006. She's currently in Charleston, South Carolina, completing her rheumatology fellowship. My son Derek, Cabrillo class of 2018, who's here tonight with his girlfriend Charlie. And to my special angel, Julia. You all have been my most important job, and I'm proud to be your mom. So I came to Cabrillo at the start of my sophomore year when my dad got transferred to Vandenberg. It was quite a culture shock for me, coming from the wilds of Wyoming, where school attire was parkas and snow boots, to wild California, where OP shorts and flip-flops were more the order of the day. When I think back to that time, I always think of myself as the two girl, the TOO girl. I was too tall, too skinny, too smart. My hair was too short and too curly. I was too shy, too awkward, too nerdy, too different. And we all know that being different in high school is never a good thing. However, I did have one thing going for me. I could swim, and I could swim pretty well, pretty fast. And it was thanks to the incredible foresight of some special coaches, Coach Wendy Knowles, who's here tonight, and Coach Bob Boyer and Coach Bob Lawrence, that I was able to find a place to fit in here at Cabrillo and make a home among the fishes. When I graduated in 1979, I left Cabrillo full of big plans. But there's a passage in a song by Thomas Rhett that says, "You never know what's going to happen. You make your plans and you hear God laughing. Life changes." So 4 years later, I found myself with a college degree, in a serious relationship, and right back here in Lompoc. Definitely not part of my plans. So I set out to find a job. And one day I came across a job offering that I felt I was immensely qualified for. It required a college degree, check, and no experience necessary, check. The job was for an appraiser one with the Santa Barbara County Assessor's Office. Now, I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know what an appraiser did, what the assessor's office did, but I applied and lo and behold, got the job. So on my first day of work, when I showed up at the Lompoc branch office, I was suddenly transported back to being that two girl. But in this case, it was because I was too young and too female. At that time, most of the professional jobs with county government were still male-dominated, and I had to work really hard to overcome the labels of being too young and too female, and prove myself both to my coworkers and also to the taxpayers of the county. It was quite intimidating at times going and meeting with, these old-time ranchers and farmers, and so that was a difficult thing to overcome. But I succeeded, and it turned out I was pretty good at the job, and now almost 40 years later, they can't seem to let me go, despite my best efforts, which included retiring last year. One of the questions that I'm often asked by job applicants who I'm interviewing for a position with our department is, what do I like about this job? What has kept you here for so long? And the answer to that is three things. First of all, there's always something new to learn. Even after 40 years, there's always something new to learn. California property tax law is very complex and continuously changing. There's always new laws that are being passed, court cases that are being decided, and legislative actions that affect how we do business. And you have to, the economy changes, the real estate market changes. You have to keep up. So there's always something to learn, so I like that. Also, there's opportunities to work with all types of properties, unusual, elaborate properties, and work through challenging and unique appraisal problems. Some things that you may never have the opportunity to do in the private sector. I've been fortunate enough to been involved with appraising all types of properties throughout our county, from mobile homes to multi-million-dollar estates and everything in between, commercial properties, agricultural properties, business properties. And one of my most challenging appraisals involved space launch complexes out at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Santa Barbara County is quite unique. It is the only jurisdiction in the entire country, and perhaps the entire world, that assesses and collects property taxes on space launch complexes. So I was the lucky one that got to figure out how to value these behemoth structures. And then I spent 7 years locked in legal battles with the launch contractors and their attorneys, defending what I had done and the values I had come up with. And then the last thing I tell people about this job is, even though this job is it's not high profile, it's not glamorous, won't make you a millionaire, I do take great satisfaction knowing, knowing that what I do impacts and makes a difference in the communities and the lives of the citizens of Santa Barbara County. So when I was notified that I had been selected for the Hall of Fame, I started to reflect back on how Cabrillo had impacted my professional life and my life since after college. And so some of the things that I came up with, practical things. I learned how to drive thanks to Mr. Weber and Mr. Gilday. I learned how to type in Mrs. Williams' typing class, which has allowed me to keep up with and function in our digital world. I learned how to cook, sort of, from Mrs. Dowd. Mr. Schmidt taught me how to write grammatically correct and cohesive paragraphs, for which my HR manager is eternally grateful. And from coaches Knowles, Boyer, and Lawrence, I learned about the importance of teamwork and that the success of a team relies on and reflects the individual contributions of its members. So, as I stand here tonight, with the exception of the too skinny part, I'm still that two girl that I was back in high school. However, now I embrace my two-ness and have come to realize that being different is a good thing. Our differences are what makes the world and our communities and our lives interesting. And our differences are what move us forward. So imagine how boring and gray life would be if we were all the same. Well, we have all gone in different directions and taken different paths in lives. The one thing that we always will share in common is Cabrillo.
Good job, Sue.
And I have the honor of introducing the next three gentlemen. It's the first time ever that we have a family affair. It's the first time that three members of the same family are going to be inducted at the same time. When I arrived here in 1972, in the summer of 1972, I knew absolutely no one. I wasn't married at the time. Mr. Bickford hired me to teach English and coach aquatic sports. I didn't know anybody. I needed to be adopted, and two families took me in. One was the family of Bob and Pat Boyer and their sons Brian and Robbie. And the other was the family of Walt and Maud Heidness, who had three sons. And those three sons are going to be inducted this evening. Walt, at the time, had already started at the Air Force Academy. He had already completed his time at Cabrillo, shining in the classroom, a 3.8 or a 3.9 GPA back when 4.0 was as high as you could go. And there was no weighted grades. That was it. I think he had a B. He also was a legendary goalie. Certainly the finest goalie that Cabrillo's ever had. A couple of years ago, 1996, when we won the CIF championship, we each received a plaque. And on that plaque was a picture. And the picture that we had in 1996 was Walt Heidness. It was his picture that was on the plaque that we received 25 years later. He's a legendary athlete. He also that year was on the CIF champion. It was the first CIF champion team. The CIF championship medley relay with Donnie Reeser, Gary Anderson, Walt Heidness, and Randy Noble. Two members of that team are here this evening. Walt, after he graduated from Cabrillo, went to the United States Air Force Academy, where he again had a stellar career and captained his water polo team, led his team to numerous NC2A championship tournaments. Upon graduation, went to flight school, began flying helicopters, and he ended his career flying the HH-53 Special Ops helicopter and flew in almost 50 combat missions in Bosnia. Now, I'm just scratching the surface. I'm only allowed to scratch the surface of what these guys did. Walt and Maud's middle son, and by the way, Walt and Maud were an unlikely pair. Maud was 5'1", maybe, had a country accent from the hills of Kentucky. Walt was a tall man, first generation Lebanese American, but they produced these three incredible men to end their Air Force career. Walt and Maud's middle son, Jeffrey, was a senior in 1972 when I began. He too captained his polo team. He shined in the classroom before then going on to the United States Air Force Academy, but he couldn't go to flight school. His vision prevented that. He then served his 5 years and then went back to the academy, where he coached the academy teams for about 25 years, led them to numerous NC2A championship tournaments, and was universally regarded as one of the finest Division I polo coaches in the country. And in the meantime, he also supervised the complete renovation of the Academy's athletic facilities. Walt and Maud's youngest son, Philip, was a freshman during my first year in '72. He too captained his polo team, but he trumped his brothers. They had great GPAs. He was the valedictorian of Cabrillo in 1976, and spoke at graduation. I remember attempting to help him with his speech that year in 1976. He then attended the academy, captained his water polo team, led them to much success also. And upon graduation, he went to flight school, where he completed his training #1 in his flight program, and he was certified to fly the F-15C, which at the time was the most sophisticated fighter jet in the world. Philip completed his time with the Air Force and then went to a long career flying for Southwest Airlines. Including Walt, Jeff, and Phil into the Cabrillo Hall of Fame is indeed our honor as much as it is theirs. But the United States Air Force Academy has already trumped our award. Last year, at a ceremony that took place at the pool at the Air Force Academy, they renamed the pool the Hypeness Pool. And on the wall, there's a beautiful mural with Jeff's image in the middle of that. Cabrillo is blessed to have had these three men attend our school, and it's my supreme honor to introduce them. Please welcome Walter, Jeff, and Philip Hypeness.
I don't know who drew the short straw, whether it's me because they asked me to speak or you because you have to listen to me. But thank you, Bob. I appreciate that short intro. And to the Alumni Association and Hall of Fame Committee who nominated us and considered us for this honor, we thank you. We're thrilled to have shared this night and this stage with our fellow inductees. And to our friends and family who are here tonight, and several surprises, I've seen my sixth grade teacher, for example. Thank you for joining us tonight also. There are too many people and too little time for me to recognize everybody that influenced us and facilitated the praise that you are giving us tonight. We didn't swim alone to get here. Please allow us to recognize a precious few people and folks along the way. So 18 years ago, Rod and Walter Hypeness brought forth upon the Lompoc Unified School District 3 sons, conceived in love and dedicated to the proposition that their boys would grow up and have a better life and greater opportunities than they had. We're talking about Depression era teenagers like many of your parents. Mom, Dad, thank you for your unwavering support for everything we pursued and dragging our little butts around to the swim meets. We are grateful for Cabrillo's faculty and staff, for it was very foundational for us. And it was initially led by Principal Bob Bickford, many of you know or remember. But we also had a wonderful mechanic, Bill Chapman, down at the pool, who very considerately kept the pool at some modicum of temperature so that the 6 a.m. workouts were kind of tolerable to those of us who would get cold. Well, that was most of the time, but anyway, he was there, you know, and he was part of the staff, and we loved him for that. We are indebted to teachers like Mr. Howard Shaw, Mr. Bob Lakey, Mr. Dick Shires, and to our great coaches, Matt Dodson, Bob Boyer, thank you, Pat, and Bob Lawrence, thank you, Diane. All unselfishly giving of their time and molding us to be better men, citizens, and athletes. Their values of service, excellence, and integrity served us well during our academy, Air Force careers, and our professional careers. All of you who are here that are instructors or former instructors, thank you all. Like I said, I can't mention everyone here tonight. I'm trying to be brief. Probably the most important levy of gratitude must go to our brothers and our teammates. They were the heart and soul of every championship and individual accolade that this program had for all 16 seasons, 16 water polo swim seasons that the three of us represented. So, in honor of our parents, our families, our friends, teachers, coaches, and teammates, we appreciate that you and humbly accept the nomination to the Hall of Fame at Cabrillo High School. Thank you very much.
Legacy. Phil, how you doing, bro?
And to introduce our championship wrestling team, please welcome team co-captain Stephen Long.
I feel like I'm in church right now. If everyone would please stand up. Stand up. Until everybody came up, you look great tonight. All right, all the wrestlers and mat maids and coaches, if you guys can come up here while I'm getting to the seat. Please come on up. Coaches.
Yep. Yeah, be the third best dress hiding.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Steve Long. I was one of the captains of the 1988 wrestling team. It's a privilege to be here tonight to stand before you to proudly speak about the remarkable Cabrillo Wrestling Program, an institution that has left an indelible mark on its participants over 5 decades. In the past 56 years, this program has achieved an impressive tally of 8 league championships, showcasing their dominance in 1970, 71, 75, 77, 79, 1981, 1988, and 1990. And the reason some of us are here tonight is in 1988, the program clinched an elusive CIF championship, solidifying the Cabrillo High School wrestling program as a force. The 1988 team's success, however, extends far beyond its collective accomplishments. The Cabrillo Wrestling Program allowed every member a chance to be in the spotlight. And tonight we are honored to be in that spotlight again. I'd like to introduce the wrestlers of this championship team, and each of you here, if you could step forward, I'm going to announce the ones that are not here too, but when I announce your name, please step forward so we can recognize you. Wes Chadwick. Let's wait until the end here, and we'll give everybody a round of applause. Victor Cummings. Sean Dennis. Elijah McCauley. Enrique Medina. Sean Moore. Ken Nisperos. Paul Romero. Greg Simmons. Joey Villa. Ken Wolf. Mike Young. I have to admit, I felt like I drew the short end of the straw tonight because there were 5 wrestlers that competed in the individual CIF championships that year. 4 of them claimed the championship. And I must admit, this moment feels like I drew the short end of the straw because I was the only one that lost in the finals. But I'm humbled to be among such incredible company. CIF finalists were, not here, champion Guillermo Zubia. Champion Adrian Zubia. Champion Paul Segura. Champion Dennis Cummings. And myself. Please give all the wrestlers a great applause. And again, just hearing the Heidemus brothers here and some of the amazing things that they have done, I want to point out someone in this group that is one of the most successful people that we've ever had at Cabrillo High School. He's one of the most highly decorated athletes to ever graduate. Guillermo Zubia earned 12 varsity letters, a feat that I do not believe has ever been matched. Competing all 4 years at the varsity level in cross country, wrestling, and track. Qualifying individually for CIF 12 times. He placed second in the state of wrestling, went on to Fresno State on a wrestling scholarship. In our 4 years at Cabrillo High School, there was no better, tougher, stronger athlete than Guillermo Zubia. He was the best of our time, and this team would like to nominate Guillermo Zavilla for consideration in the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame. The past week, I don't know if some of you guys, I watch Discovery's channel, but the past week was Shark Week on the Discovery Channel. And I have to tell you, for being with this group, felt like being a part of the Discovery series about alpha predators and survival. You have these intense, scary-looking animals on the hunt, and that's who these guys were. They were predators looking for prey. Dennis Cummings, biggest smile up here. When he went on the mat, he would kill people, tear them to shreds. I mean, I felt bad for the people this team wrestled. One night, we beat Morro Bay 78-0 in their gym. That's all 13 wrestlers pinning the competition. And Morro Bay was not that bad. Talk about crickets.
Wow. Wow.
These guys were hunters. Now, if you have predators, you have to have some prey. Well, let's flash back to 1988, and I was a skinny, 5'11", 150-pound, freckle-faced kid. These predators looked at and licked their chops. Think of me as that innocent baby giraffe being stalked and attacked by a pack of bloodthirsty lions. And somehow, just somehow, he gets away with his life. That's how I felt every time I stepped in the wrestling room. Despite being a relatively small program, Cabrillo's wrestling legacy is exemplified by numerous individual league, CIF, and state championships, place winners over the years. It's a testament to the dedication, hard work, and passion that the coaches, athletes, and support staff have poured into this sport. And as we reminisce about the wrestling program's proud history, one essential group deserves our recognition: the mat maids. Today, the term mat maids might be perceived differently, but the young women who held this title were not only proud, but also integral to the team's success. They were not simply observers from the sidelines, they were active leaders who contributed immensely to the team's accomplishments. Their dedication, hard work, made the daily grind in the wrestling room more tolerable for all of us. These women were the backbone of this program, and tonight we want to acknowledge these incredible women and thank them for being an essential part of this championship. They exemplified what it means to be devoted and hardworking. Ladies, a lot of them aren't here tonight, but Joni Brantley, Shannon Dulceri Wells, Honey Ho, Julie Hu Lengy, Susan Reuter, Tracy Thompson, Katie Watson Thompson, Veronica Lopez Romero, Renee Mulberry Szymanski. Thank you for everything you've done. Finally, our coaching staff, and what an incredible group of leaders to which we are so thankful to have in our lives. It was more than just wrestling. They gently molded us into young men with a sledgehammer of blood, sweat, and tears. We'd like to recognize these amazing men. Coach Jeff Johnson. Jerry Hardman, not here tonight. Coach David Long. Coach Bob Radford. And head coach Dave Long. Thank you for your time and commitment to this team. Last, we would like to take a moment to honor every individual who's here, who's been part of the Cabrillo Wrestling program. Whether you were a coach, a wrestler, a mat maid, a teacher, or a family member, would you please stand up so we can say thank you for being a part of our group? Thank you for being here.
Yay.
As I close, I want to emphasize the Cabrillo Wrestling program is not just about championships and accolades. It's about building character, fostering resilience, and forging lifelong bonds. The experience shared, the memories created, and the lessons learned is something we will forever be proud of and cherish. As we celebrate this 1988 team tonight, I want to emphasize to all the Cabrillo athletes, coaches, and staff, hard work matters, commitment matters, and most important, doing things the right way matters. It will make a difference in your life. It did with ours. You look at this diverse group up here. I don't remember any animosity, jealousy, tearing each other down for selfish gain, which is so easy to do now. Because of wrestling, we found a reason to come together to root for one another and push each other's physical and mental limits. It's not easy, but it builds strong character. And strong character is something the Cabrillo High School wrestling program builds. Thank you for honoring this group of men and women tonight. For all of us, it is another incredible memory we will have because of Cabrillo High School and the wrestling program. Thank you. I believe we have medals for each of the team members. So we'll get the medals for us.
What do you think, bro? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, this is my 8th one. See, Kevin, I thought I'd come back to this stuff. Alumni games are much fun, man. You get to go out and play some ball again. You get to meet guys you haven't ever played with. Right, that's what Roselli says. Eddie says he do the same thing. Right. Well, the thing is, you meet people who weren't even alive when we were playing. And Coach Jason Haley, he was David Haley's son. Yeah, David Haley's son. He was one of my players. And that's when you get old, you know, you're coaching David Haley's son, you know. Yeah. I enjoy it though. I'm here, man. I'm dying to come back as something, but yeah, I'm here. I enjoy it. I just have fun with it, you know. Because I don't even know these guys, you know. Yeah, I just have looking to do, right?
Coach Mike Wallace is going to announce the 50-50 drawing winners and decide the outcome.
Broke on the way in and they'd tape it all up.
While Michael's putting that together, I got a message from Mr. John Osborne and Cole Osborne, the baseball coaches. They're having batting practice out under the lights this evening after our event. If anybody'd like to go out and take pictures, see the lights that are shining over our baseball diamond right now.
Good evening, people. Thank you for coming tonight. We start off with our 50-50 raffle.
That's how why it was so big, you know.
26, 56, 41.
Nope. Not even close. Oh, I was so close. He's gonna buy me a tripod. He's gonna buy me a tripod. Well, that sucks.
So $600 was collected, so the winner gets $300.
Right on. Time to get pictures. I got the first 2 numbers there.
just donated it back to the team.
That was good luck.
All right, on for the silent auction bids for the 2017 Pino Magnum. It is Tom Higgins.